Commander Lisa Wright held the tablet with shaking hands. The message from Earth was clear. Make the aliens agree, or the mining colony on Neptune would run out of food in 3 months. She took a deep breath and walked into the meeting room. The ship Vanguard was the best Earth had. But next to the alien ships outside, it looked like a child's toy. Lisa sat at the big round table and waited. When the door opened, 3 aliens walked in. They had blue-gray skin that shined under the lights. Their eyes had many parts like insect eyes. They moved with a grace that made humans look clumsy. "Welcome to our ship," Lisa said. "We hope we can reach an agreement today." The alien leader, Zorai, looked at her. His face showed what humans would call a sneer. "So primitive," Zorai said, looking at the trade papers Lisa had prepared. "Your kind only left your planet 100 years ago. Now you want to use space routes that we have watched over for thousands of years?" Lisa kept her face calm, but her hands gripped her chair tightly. "The routes we want to use are free space. The Galactic Concord says all space travelers have the right to use them." Next to her, Science Officer Alan Murphy moved in his seat. This meeting was going just as badly as they had feared. Earth had met aliens 30 years ago. Most alien races were nice to humans if careful, but the Zethrians, these blue-gray aliens, had been mean from the start. They never missed a chance to make humans feel small. Zorai turned to the other Zethrians and pointed at a picture of a human ship. "Look at their engines. So simple and old. My great-great-grandparents had better technology when humans were still living in caves." The other Zethrians made clicking sounds with their mouths. Lisa knew this was their way of laughing. It made her skin crawl. "The Concord says humans are equal to all other space travelers," Lisa said firmly. "It doesn't matter if we made our first spaceship yesterday or 1,000,000 years ago." Sarai's mouth moved in what Lisa knew was a smile, but not a nice one. "The Concord may say many things on paper, but reality shows the truth. Some species are better than others." He pushed the papers back to Lisa without signing them. "No. Try again in 100 years, when you're more advanced." The Zethrians stood up to leave. Ambassador Frank Collins, who had been quiet by the wall, finally spoke. His voice was soft but had a sharp edge. "We humans have a saying. Pride comes before a fall." Sarai's eyes flickered. "And we Zethrians have an older saying. The baby, bird that makes the most noise, gets eaten first." He waved his hand at the door. "Have a safe trip back to your simple world, humans." After the aliens left, Lisa hit the table with her fist. "That's the 3rd time they've ruined our plans this year. The people mining on Neptune need those supply routes." Frank nodded with a grim face. "We need to tell Earth right away. This isn't just about them being rude anymore. The Zethrians are stopping humans from growing and exploring." "They think we'll just accept it," Alan said. "They've done this to new space travelers for thousands of years. First they cut them off, then they limit them, and finally they take over." Lisa looked out the window where the Zethrian ship was getting ready to jump to faster-than-light travel. Their ship was beautiful and sleek compared to the boxy human ships. "They clearly don't know much about human history. We don't like bullies." Frank's face became thoughtful. "No, we certainly don't. And maybe it's time we showed them what happens when humans are pushed too far." Back on their own ship, the Zethrians were pleased with themselves. The humans had been put in their place once again. "Did you see their faces?" laughed Menzoth, the youngest diplomat. "I thought the female was going to cry." Zorai settled into his floating chair. "Humans are so easy to control. They have spirit but no teeth." "Should we tell the council about their request?" asked Vila, the 3rd diplomat. "Why bother?" said Zorai. "The human problem will solve itself. In time, they will learn to stay in their small corner of space." Menzoth touched some controls, bringing up a map of human space. "They keep trying to expand. This is the 6th request this year. Persistence is their only strength," Zorai said. "But our superior technology and influence will keep them contained." "What if they complain to the Concord?" Vila asked. Zorai made a dismissive gesture. "The Concord has been under our influence for centuries. Who would they believe? Us, A founding member or some hairless apes who just learned to split atoms? On the human ship, Lisa called an emergency meeting with her crew. The mood was dark. The Neptune colony has food for 3 months, Lisa told them. Without these new routes, the supply ships will take too long. We could try another alien race for help, suggested Sam, the navigation officer. Alan shook his head. We've tried. The Zethrians have told everyone not to help us. They control too many important resources. So we're trapped, Lisa said. Unless we find a way to beat them at their own game. Frank, who had been quiet, finally smiled. Maybe we can. The Zethrians have one weakness they don't even know about. Everyone turned to look at him. What's that? Lisa asked. They think they know us, Frank said. They think we're predictable. But there's one thing humans do better than any species in the galaxy. What's that? Sam asked. Frank's smile grew wider. When pushed to our limits, we don't just push back. We change the rules entirely. Lisa felt a spark of hope. What do you have in mind? Something the Zethrians will never see. Coming, Frank said. It's time to activate Project Phoenix. 6 months had passed since the meeting with the Zethrians. On Europa, Jupiter's moon covered in ice, something big was happening. Engineer Olivia Martinez looked at the strange machine in front of her. It was the size of a car, but glowed with blue light. This was Project Phoenix, humanity's secret weapon. Is it working? Olivia asked her team. Ben Harper, her assistant, checked the computer screens. Yes, power at 117% of what we expected. It's better than we hoped. Olivia smiled. Not bad for primitive humans, right? For 3 years they had been working in this hidden base. They collected broken pieces of alien technology and studied them. But instead of just copying the aliens, humans did something different. They made something new. The big bosses are coming, Ben said, looking at his phone. They want to see if it really works. Olivia nodded and felt nervous. The timing was important. Just last week, the Zethrians had stopped another human ship from going to a new star system. They said it wasn't safe, but that was a lie. The Zethrians just didn't want humans to spread out. Things were getting worse. The Zethrians were blocking trade, stopping human ships and making other aliens avoid humans. The Neptune colony still had food problems. 3 other new colonies had to be abandoned. The door opened, and 4 important people walked in. Olivia knew them from TV. Director Samantha Kelly, who ran the Europa base, General Paul Richards from Earth's Army, Admiral Kate Howard, who commanded the Space Fleet, and William Nelson from the diplomatic team. Dr. Martinez, said Director Kelly, please tell our guests about Project Phoenix. Olivia turned on a big screen showing the machine's design. We call this the space folder. The Zethrians use technology that makes a tunnel through space to travel fast. Our machine does something better. It folds space itself. Admiral Howard frowned. What does that mean in simple words? Instead of moving our ship through space, we move space around our ship, Olivia explained. Imagine if you wanted to touch both ends of a long piece of paper. You could walk from one end to the other, or you could fold the paper and touch both ends at once. We fold space that way. General Richards whistled. And it works? We've tested small versions, Ben said. We're ready to try it with a real ship, next month. Do the Zethrians know about this? Nelson asked. Director Kelly shook her head. No, we've kept it secret. They think we're still far behind them. Good, Nelson said with a serious face. Because we just learned something bad. The Zethrians want to change the Galactic Concord rules. They want a new rule that would keep new space travelers like us stuck in our home systems for 500 years. Everyone was quiet for a moment. They can't do that, Olivia said. They've been talking to other old alien races for years, Nelson explained. They tell everyone that humans are dangerous and not ready for space. Remember the mining accident last year? And the problem with the Praxi aliens? The Zethrians use these small mistakes to make us look bad. Admiral Howard hit her fist against the wall. So that's their plan. Keep us trapped until they can control us completely. Yes, Nelson said. And the vote happens in 3 months. General Richards looked at Olivia. How fast can you get this space folder ready for a real ship? Olivia looked at Ben. We plan to test it carefully for 6 months, but if you need it sooner. This isn't a request, Richards said firmly. This is an order from Earth Command. The future of humans in space depends on what happens in the next 3 months. Olivia took a deep breath. Then we'll need more people, more materials, and we'll work day and night. You'll get everything you need, Director Kelly promised. This is now our top priority. After the meeting, Olivia stayed alone, looking at the space folder. She wondered if it would work on a big ship. They had never tested it that way. Her phone rang. It was Lisa Wright, the commander from the Zethrian meeting. How's Project Phoenix going? Lisa asked. We're speeding everything up, Olivia said. We have 3 months. That's cutting it close, Lisa said. The Zethrians are moving faster than we thought. My team intercepted some of their messages to other alien races. They're really scared of humans. Scared of us? Olivia was surprised. We're way behind them in technology. Not because of technology, Lisa explained. They're afraid of how fast we learn and adapt. Most alien races take thousands of years to advance. We've gone from horse carts to spaceships in just a few hundred years. Olivia thought about this. So they want to trap us because they're afraid we'll catch up to them. Exactly, Lisa said. And our colonies are the proof. In just 30 years since we met aliens, humans have already started living on 12 planets. It took the Zethrians 600 years to do the same. Olivia looked at her machine with new determination. Well, they're right to be afraid. When the space folder works, we won't just catch up to them. We'll jump ahead. On the Zethrian homeworld, Zerai was talking to the High Council, the 12 oldest and most powerful Zethrians. The humans continue to be a problem, he told them. They keep trying to expand beyond their systems. Are they really worth our concern? Asked Zethnar, the eldest council member. They are so far behind us. Their technology is primitive, yes, Zerai agreed. But they learn too quickly. In just 30 years since first contact, they've already reverse-engineered parts of our communication systems. Impossible, said another council member. I have proof, Zerai said. And there's more. Unlike other young races, humans don't follow the normal patterns. They take risks. They try strange new ideas. They don't respect their elders. The amendment will solve this, Zethnar said. Once the Conquered votes to restrict new races to their home systems, the human problem will disappear. If it passes, Zerai reminded them, we need more support. What about the accident reports? Asked a female council member. The human mining disaster, the diplomatic mistakes they made. Zerai smiled. We've made sure every Concord member has seen those reports, with some helpful emphasis on the dangers, of course. Back on Europa, Olivia and her team worked through the night. The space folder was being connected to a small test ship. If it worked, humanity would have a chance. If it failed, humans might be trapped in their small corner of the galaxy for 500 years. Ben brought Olivia some coffee. Do you think we'll make it in time? Olivia looked at the countdown clock on the wall. 89 days until the Conquered vote. We have to, she said. The Zethrians want to keep us down, to make us stay small and weak. But they don't understand humans. Very well. What do you mean? Olivia smiled. When someone tells a human you can't do that, it just makes us try harder. Captain Greg Wilson sat in the command chair of the ship Defiance. It was Earth's newest ship, but no one outside a small group knew what made it special. Through the big window, he could see the blue-green planet Zethria Prime, home of the aliens, who had mocked humans for so long. Captain, the Zethrians have spotted us, said Lieutenant Nicole Reeves from her control panel. 3, 2, 1. Right on time, the communication screen lit up. An angry Zethrian officer appeared. Human ship, you are in Zethrian space without permission. Turn off your engines and prepare to be taken to a holding area. Greg smiled politely. This is Captain Wilson of the Earth ship Defiance. We're here as official visitors for the Galactic Conquered vote tomorrow. We sent our flight plan to the Conquered office. The Zethrian's many-part eyes narrowed. No flight plan was sent to Zethrian. Defense Command, you will obey now or face the consequences. How interesting, Greg replied. Our new space folder drive must have gotten us here so fast that you didn't notice until we slowed down. Sorry about the surprise. This technology is very new. He paused, enjoying the confused look on the Zethrian's face. We'll send our papers. Now, Defiance out. As the screen went dark, his communications officer, Danielle Pierce, looked up. Sir, they're scanning us hard. Several Zethrian ships are coming toward us. Let them scan, Greg said calmly. And stay right where we are. This ship isn't moving unless I say so. The Defiance was the first ship fitted with the space folder drive from Project Phoenix. On the outside, it looked like a normal diplomatic ship. But inside it had technology that no alien had ever seen. The ship had traveled from Earth to Zethria in just 20 minutes, a journey that normally took 3 weeks. Captain, called Ryan Cooper from the navigation station. The Zethrian command ship is coming. They want to dock with us. Greg nodded. Let them, and tell our diplomatic team to get ready for visitors. An hour later, Greg stood in the meeting room with Earth's top diplomat, Ambassador Julia Kent. The door opened and several angry Zethrians walked in. Leading them was Zorai, the same Zethrian who had been so rude to humans in the past. Now he had an even higher position in the Zethrian government. This unauthorized entry breaks 17 different parts of the Galactic Concord, Zorai began, immediately, his usual calm manner now cracked with worry. And your claim about a new drive system is completely true, Julia cut in smoothly. She turned on a display showing the Defiance's journey from Earth to Zethria, with timestamps, verified by neutral Concord monitoring stations. As you can see, our ship left Earth exactly 23 minutes before arriving here. The Zethrians clicked their mouthparts rapidly to each other, a sign of distress. Impossible, one of the junior Zethrians said. Their technology was decades behind ours. It was behind, Greg corrected. Things change. Zorai stared at Greg with new intensity. Even if this unlikely claim is true, it doesn't excuse breaking proper procedures. Julia smiled. Actually, we followed every rule. The problem seems to be that our arrival happened before our flight plan notification got to you, a small issue caused by faster than expected travel times. The Concord rules don't cover this situation. We've already submitted a proposal to update the rules for this new technology. She slid a data pad across the table. You'll also find our formal notice that we plan to share this technology with all Concord members, including the Zethrians, of course, as required by Section 4.3 of the Technology Exchange Treaty. Everyone understood what she meant by emphasizing all members. For decades, the Zethrians had technically followed the sharing rules, but made their advanced technologies practically impossible for newer species to use through complicated licensing terms. This meeting is over, Zorai announced abruptly, standing up. We will address these claims at tomorrow's Concord meeting. After the Zethrians left, Julia turned to Greg with a satisfied look. That went exactly as we hoped. They're shaken up. The timing is perfect, Greg agreed. Their proposal to restrict new space travelers will look very suspicious now, coming right after we've shown technology that's better than theirs. Julia nodded. Phase 1 complete. Now we see if the rest of the plan works. The next day, the Tod-Year Galactic Concord Assembly met with representatives from all 37 recognized spacefaring species. The Zethrians opened with their long-planned proposal to restrict newer species to their home systems for a safety monitoring period of 500 years. What followed was not the easy victory they had expected. One by one, Earth's representatives showed evidence of Zethrian interference in human development, trade route blockades disguised as safety concerns, technology embargoes hidden behind regulatory language, diplomatic sabotage carried out through proxies. Each accusation was backed by careful documentation gathered over years by human intelligence services. Then came the demonstration that changed everything. From orbit, the Defiance performed a series of space jumps that should have been impossible according to known physics, appearing and disappearing around Zethria's system with perfect accuracy and using very little energy. The message was clear. The species the Zethrians had dismissed as primitive had not only caught up but jumped ahead in one key area of technology. As the assembly dissolved into chaotic debate, Greg watched from the Defiance's bridge with grim satisfaction. The Zethrians had spent centuries using technological superiority to bully emerging species. Now they were facing the one thing they hadn't expected, a species that refused to stay in the box they'd been placed in. Incoming message from Earth. Command, Danielle announced. Phase 3 is authorized. Greg nodded. Send the signal to the fleet. Across human space, 100 previously hidden ships equipped with the new drive simultaneously activated, appearing near strategic locations throughout the galaxy, trade hubs, diplomatic centers, and key resource zones. None made threatening moves, but their sudden presence sent an unmistakable message. Humanity would not be contained. Back in the conquered assembly, Zorai was trying to maintain control of the situation. These human claims are exaggerated, he told the gathered representatives. The Zethrian Consortium has always supported proper development of... He was interrupted by an aide who whispered urgently in his ear. Zorai's face changed color, the Zethrian equivalent of going pale. What is it, Representative Zorai? Asked the Concord chairperson. I need to consult with my government, Zorai said, his voice lacking its usual confidence. The chairperson checked her screen, which was filling, with urgent messages. It seems we all do. This session will take a 1-hour recess. As the representatives filed out, many were looking at the human delegation with new interest and respect. Ambassador Julia Kent met with Greg in a private room during the break. It's working, she said, her eyes bright with excitement. 3 species that were going to vote with the Zethrians have already approached me to discuss separate agreements with Earth. Greg nodded. The space folder has changed everything. Now they're all worried about being left behind. The Zethrians are calling for an emergency meeting of their High Council, Julia added. Our intelligence says they're in complete disarray. When the conquered assembly reconvened, the mood had shifted dramatically. The Zethrians' proposal was tabled for further study, diplomatic language for rejected. Instead, a new proposal was put forward to create a special committee to review technology sharing protocols across all conquered species. As the session ended, an elderly representative from the Proxians, one of the oldest species in the galaxy, approached Julia. Most impressive, the Proxian said, its voice a soft whisper. In all my centuries, I have never seen the Zethrians so thoroughly. What is your human expression? Ah, yes, caught off guard. Julia smiled. We're full of surprises. Indeed, the Proxian agreed. Perhaps that is what the galaxy has been missing. Complacency is the enemy of progress, after all. As Greg prepared the Defiance for its return journey to Earth, he received a secure message from Dr. Olivia Martinez. Congratulations on the successful mission, she wrote. Phase 4 is ready whenever Earth Command gives the order. Greg smiled. The Zethrians had thought they knew everything about humans. They were wrong. There were plenty more surprises to come. 1 year had passed since what people now called the Zethrian surprise. Dr. Olivia Martinez walked into a large meeting room on the space station Harmony. The room was filled with aliens from many different species. Some had tentacles, others had wings, and some looked almost like humans. Olivia was now co-chair of the new Galactic Technology Exchange Commission. Her job was to help different species share their technology fairly. She sat at the main table next to representatives from both older and newer spacefaring species. The Zethrians were not there. After their big embarrassment, they had pulled back from many conquered activities. The third meeting of the Exchange Commission will now begin, Olivia announced. Today we will finish the new rules for sharing advances in space travel technology. As she spoke, she thought about how much had changed in 1 year. The space folder drive had turned the galaxy upside down. Old powers were now unsure, and younger species had new hope. The Zethrians' plan to lock up newer species had completely backfired. Instead, there had been a full investigation into how the Zethrians had been keeping technology from others. The investigators found that the Zethrians had been stopping not just humans, but 12 other young species from advancing. This scandal had forced the Galactic Concord to completely change its technology-sharing rules. Dr. Martinez called a delegate from Proxima, one of the oldest and wisest species. Earth has changed the original sharing proposal. Can you explain why? Olivia nodded. The new proposal adds more protection to stop any single species from using technology to control others. We've also added bigger education programs to help newer species understand the science behind advanced technologies. What she didn't say directly was that these changes fixed the exact tricks the Zethrians had used to stay on top. Technically sharing technology, but holding back the knowledge needed to make it work. And what about the Zethrians? Asked another delegate. Will they join this exchange? The door is always open, Olivia replied politely. All Concord members are welcome. The real situation was more complicated. The Zethrians, after losing their technology edge and having their manipulation exposed, had pulled back into their own territory. Their economy, which depended heavily on being more advanced than others, was struggling to adapt. After the meeting, Olivia met with Ambassador Julia Kent and Admiral Greg Wilson in a private room. The Proxians are with us, Julia reported. With their support, the new rules will pass with everyone's approval. Greg nodded, satisfied. And how is our fleet doing? The United Earth Alliance now has ships in 27 star systems, Julia Size answered. All with full approval from the Concord. We've also signed defense agreements with 15 previously isolated species. Olivia sighed. I never thought we'd go from creating a new engine to changing galactic power in less than a year. The Zethrians forced our hand, Greg reminded her. If they had treated us as equals from the beginning. But they didn't, interrupted a new voice. They turned to see Ben Harper, Olivia's assistant, entering with a tablet. And now they're asking for a meeting, Olivia raised an eyebrow. With who? With you, Ben said, handing her the tablet. Specifically you, Dr. Martinez. Not the diplomats, not Earth's leaders. They want to talk to the person who created the technology that changed everything. Julia and Greg exchanged looks. It could be a trap, Greg warned. Or it could be the first step toward real dialogue, Julia suggested. Olivia read the request. It came from Zorai himself, now speaking not as a government official but as a representative of the Zethrian Science Academy. I'll meet him, she decided, but here on Harmony on neutral ground. 3 days later, Olivia sat across from Zorai in a small meeting room. The Zethrian looked different, his fancy uniform replaced by the simpler clothes of a scientific scholar, his posture less proud than she remembered from videos. Thank you for agreeing to meet Dr. Martinez, he began, his translator conveying a tone that might have been humble. I was curious, Olivia admitted. Your people haven't been interested in talking before. Zorai's mouth parts clicked softly. Things change, views evolve. He paused. I've studied your space folder drive carefully. It's truly remarkable. Not a copy of existing technology, but something genuinely new. That's the human approach, Olivia replied. We don't just copy, we create. Yes, I'm beginning to understand that. Zorai placed a data crystal on the table, between them. This contains theoretical work from our advanced physics division, specifically ways to make your drive more efficient. Olivia stared at the crystal, then back at Zorai. Why would you share this? Because staying alone is no longer possible, he answered simply. For thousands of years, the Zethrians have kept our position through technology advantage. We believed this was the natural order, older species guiding younger ones, controlling how fast they advance to prevent mistakes. Controlling others. You mean, Olivia corrected, as you say. Zorai made a gesture that showed agreement. But your species showed us the basic problem with this approach. By trying to hold humans back, we accidentally made you advance faster, and in a way we never expected. He leaned forward slightly. The Zethrian government has split into fighting groups. Some want to fight back, others want to hide even more. But some of us see a third way. Working together as equals, Olivia said. Yes. Not controlling disguised, as helping but true exchange between equals. Zorai pointed to the crystal. This is our first offering. Olivia didn't touch it yet. And what do you want in return? A seat at the table, Zorai replied. The new Technology Exchange Commission is reshaping galactic development. The Zethrians have knowledge collected over thousands of years, knowledge that could help all species if shared properly. Olivia thought carefully about his words. This wasn't just about technology, it was about a basic change in how species work together across the galaxy. The human breakthrough had created a chance to replace control with partnership. I can't make promises for Earth or the Commission, she said finally, but I can bring your proposal to them along with my recommendation. And what will that recommendation be, Dr. Martinez? Olivia picked up the crystal, feeling its weight in her hand. That we move forward together. Humans didn't create the space folder drive to become the new bullies of the galaxy. We did it because we refused to be limited by someone else's idea of what we could be. She put the crystal in her pocket. The best advances come when different viewpoints work together, not when one viewpoint controls everything. I think that's a good principle to build a new galactic order around. As she left the meeting, Olivia contacted Admiral Wilson and Ambassador Kent to tell them about this unexpected development. The way forward wouldn't be easy. Trust had been badly damaged, and many humans remained justifiably suspicious of Zethrian intentions. But a door had been opened. The species that had once mocked humans as primitive had been forced to recognize not just humanity's technical abilities, but their unbreakable spirit, their refusal to accept artificial limits, their drive to push boundaries, and their ability to turn challenges into opportunities. The Zethrians had learned what many others had discovered before. Never underestimate humans. When backed into a corner, humans don't just push back. They completely change the game. For better or worse, the galaxy would never be the same.